So if I went to one of the centers and I got a pinprick, and I only gave that much blood, right? What tests are you currently able to perform for that blood using anything other than commercially available lab equipment?
So we have never used commercially available lab equipment for fingerstick-based tests.
Okay.
Every fingerstick test that we have ever done uses proprietary Theranos technology that is not commercially available.
Okay.
Right now, because we're at a moment in time in which we've decided to transition from the lab framework to the FDA framework. I think about this kind of like if you have cars driving on a road and you say, okay, I'm going to take everybody from driving on the right-hand side of the road to the left-hand side of the road. The only way to do that is to pause, right?
Okay.
Cut over. And so as a result, because we have voluntarily decided not to use our nanotainer tubes until we cut over to the left-hand side of the road, which we now have the FDA quality systems in place to do this. We are not collecting the fingerstick sample for anything except for HSV. That has nothing to do with what we can run on our devices in our lab. Okay. It has nothing to do with our tests. It has nothing to do with our testing methodology or the accuracy or performance of it.
All right, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so I'm just going to say two things here. The lot of suppression gestures now, which I think you guys would call regulators, and I would call moderators, because these specific regulators are about her moderating the conversation and just saying, look, stop that. I think she's really on the back foot now. She wants this to stop, because he's been really specific about that. He's literally going, well, if I get a pin and I prick and a little bit of blood, like, what can you actually do with that? He's managed to narrow it down. And so she's now got to explode it up now, got to reject his premise and explode it up into some kind of word lasagna in order that we won't be able to see where the lies are, essentially. So, lots of nods, lots of looks to approval, nothing new there. The only other thing I'd say is there's a lovely, for her, quite big downturn of the mouth right at the end of this. I think she spends a lot of time serving up this word lasagna, and at the end of it, she's like, oh, that was... I don't think she's pleased with herself at the end of this one. Greg, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, that last one, I'm with you. It's in my notes. There's a change in her mouth at the end that is uncharacteristic, and there's a request for approval at the same time. Kind of that. So you can't miss that she knows she's not delivered well there. She starts off, if you notice her head movement here, remember I talked about frequency, but also how much movement she has. The amount of movement is much lighter and much more rapid. So that's an indicator. As you said, it's an adapter. It's a way to release nervous energy. And so she's really nervous, and frequency is moving up, and the amount she's moving her head has decreased. I love the fact she picks up his word, anchors, and chaffs like nobody's business. Meaning, when we say chaff and redirect, we mean like a plane spraying all this chaff out the back to make a missile follow. He says something, she picks up on a word, commercially available, or a term, and she runs away with it. And when she does that, in fact, she does a little lip grip when she says commercially available, which means withholding information or emotion. As she gets to the message and she gets down into this chaff and redirect, then her hands start to come up and she starts to talk. She does a two-handed defense. She's doing regulators, as you were saying, Mark, to control a conversation. My favorite is I'm going to regulate you and point out how good I am at the same time. That's one of my favorites I've seen in a long time. That's a hell of a lot of arrogance to do that to somebody. When you put your hand in someone's face and then talk about yourself, that's a hell of a lot of arrogance. And that's what I got. Chase, what do you got?
Oh, wow.
I thought you were going to go to profundity.
Oh, man, I was waiting on that.
Good. I was getting so good about not doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Scott. I know you have to edit all this out.
Oh, yeah.
You think I'm going to edit that out?
Maybe.
It's not going anywhere, especially since you said it.
All right. This nodding that she's doing is killing me. I can't take this nodding behavior. So one thing that we see here is she is acting like a nano explainer and not just a nanotainer. That didn't even get Scott.
I think just carry on and see how long you can possibly hold that.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Call his bluff.
So one thing we're seeing here that you're not going to see in a lot of the other videos is immediate mouth closure after the statement. The statement's over and the mouth closes within 1/10 of a second. And she continues to dig deeper here. There's a baton gesture, which, Greg, I'm not sure what you guys call that. I know you're on mute, and Scott's frozen.
Or pseudo frozen. Yeah, Illustrator, but a baton is a function of Illustrator. Yeah.
So a baton is when we talk and our hand is at the accentuation or right at the syllable of what we're saying. And there's a baton gesture on every single syllable here when she starts to answer this.
He's still keep going. Call his bluff. See who crumbles first.
I think it's unusual here that she won't speak for herself. She's turning everything into, this is about the company. This is not about me. And I think part of this is a diversion of guilt, that if she can make it about them and about everybody there, then she doesn't have to own it if anything ever happens, because I'm damn sure that she's worried about this coming into light. So right at the end, again, immediate mouth closure with a confirmation glance back to the interviewer, which is not, both of those are not within her normal baseline. Scott, what do you got?
Other than a cramp in your neck.
Wow. No, I just can't see.
Do you want, shall I call the ambulance?
No, not yet. I got hot chicken waiting up there. That'll wake me up when we're done.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this is a huge lie, and her blink rate plummets at this point. And as she goes through this, she shrinks again. She shrinks, and she's using her barriers. She guys covered most everything. And again, I think she's had a lot of help with this, because nobody can you can ball face lie to somebody like this if you're a psychopath. If there's something wrong with your amygdala, there's something wrong with your limbic system in there. Here's why I think so. Chase. She can look at somebody and stare at them without blinking, like I just did, and not feel weird about it. What's coming out of her mouth is just, it's a huge lie. Every bit of it, nothing in there is true. She can't do any of that stuff. And she's looking at this guy dead-eyed and just saying like it's nothing. It's not bothering her. And having been able to do this to everyone up to this point like that, again, not caring about the health of who knows how many people that this would have affected. They would have found out eventually, obviously. Didn't care about that. But it doesn't bother her. As a psychopath, what happens is your amygdala don't work properly. It doesn't work properly. There's two of them. They're about the size of almonds, and they're about this high up, and you go in about, an inch and a half, and they come down like that, and they're either not working properly, they're not functioning properly, they're missing, or they're damaged. And that's the part of the limbic system that lets you have empathy for people, for little animals, for little children, for other people. When somebody hits their thumb with a hammer, you go, oh gosh, I bet that hurt. They don't have that. So they don't know that it's weird to keep looking at you. That's the psychopathic stare. So when you see someone in a bar and they keep looking at you like this from across the room and don't quit, and it makes you feel weird, it's because it doesn't make them feel weird. They don't know. They can't read the social cues in the room like a normal person can. And she can't read the social cues on this guy as he becomes uncomfortable, as she continues to him. And that's a big sign of that for me. That's in the list. You go down there, they can't read. They can read some facial expressions. Fear, they see that. That's the one they cue into. But she's not seeing fear here. She can't read what this guy's doing or what he's thinking or what other people she's talked to are thinking or have thought up to that point. And apparently they were believing her because of what they've mistaken for competence and her not looking away and keep dead-eyeing them at this point. And then you're right there at the end. She looks like, do you believe me? Everything's kind of changed. Like, do you believe me? That kind of face. Yeah. So that's what I got. That's another list of reasons I think we're dealing with a psychopath here.
See, I don't think she answered the question. I don't think she lied.
Can you guys hear my dog having a nightmare back there?
No.
No.
He's doing little barks. I thought it was going to ruin you talking. I'm sorry.
Oh no,
Scott, I don't think she told a lie. I think she just avoided answering the question. She didn't say we can do this. She just avoided it.
I agree with you, but she doesn't see the cues on this guy to go. I wonder if she's missing everything. Keep it on the other guy as well. And she nods her head. You know how many times she nods her head coming out of the gate there in that answer, as he's talking to her at the beginning? 58 times. 58
I know
nods.
it's a lot. I'm just watching.
That's a hell. It's just to hold the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count them. Go back through and count them this time when you watch this back through. 58 times she nods her head.
Yeah.
That's just not normal. None of this is normal.
I think she's feeling stress is the reason she's moving her head.
Yeah, could be. I don't know.
I'm embarrassed I didn't count. I didn't have a number at all, and you had.
I agree with you. It's just
nod count.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. All right, is that everybody?
Yep.
Let's move along. If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.